two very short texts and two very bleak ideas about freedom. I recently read Of Mice and Men by John Steinbeck and The Promised Land by Grace Orgott, and both texts center land as liberation and then subtly, quietly complicate that idea. The Book of Mice and Men follows two characters, George and Lenny. They are itinerant workers during the Great Depression, and they move from place to place in search of safety and stability. And they both share a dream of one day owning land. And in the Promised Land, we have a couple who migrates in search of a better, more prosperous life, and eventually they arrive to a place, settle there, and this place seems to offer exactly what they were hoping for. So both texts touch on a range of themes: race, gender, power, spirituality, mental health, mental illness. But I am a lot more interested in how they approach land as a route to freedom. So in both of the books, land represents independence, dignity, freedom, security, a way out of instability. But neither of the two books allows that idea to remain uncomplicated. In Of Mice and Men, the dream of ownership is constantly deferred, and the structure that our characters George and Lenny exist within doesn't allow them to move beyond survival. And in The Promised Land, the idea of starting over elsewhere raises more uncomfortable questions about ownership and belonging, and whether the ownership of land or accessing land is ever neutral. So the comparison becomes less about does the dream come true and more about who gets access to land and why, whether movement actually leads to freedom, and what sits beneath the idea of a promised place. So, one text shows you how a dream can remain just outside of your reach, while the other asks you to question what are the consequences of attaining your dream? What is the attainment of a dream actually involve? What does it require of you? What does it require of others? So both Of Mice and Men as well as A Promised Land are really short texts, but they're doing a lot underneath. So if you want something that is reflective, that is critical, that's going to stay with you, but that you can finish within a day, then I would highly, highly recommend these two texts. They're very simplistically written, but they do a lot of heavy intellectual lifting.